Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back from the brand new video once again in black. Honestly, I've had to dig into the old trenches for this one. That's how many times this man has somehow survived the golden bullet. You know what I mean? This guy's got more lives than a cat at the minute as Rangers just continue to be absolutely dreadful under the management of Phil Clement. So bad, in fact, that it's not only just back-to-back defeats at Ibrox, 1 to Queen's Park and then 1 today, but it's yet another record broken under the management under Phil Clement, because not only did he give Ross County their first win in decades and decades, then obviously their first ever win breaking the record versus Queen's Park, they've now given St Mirren their first win at Ibrox since 1991. Record breaker for everything but the right reasons. And look, where I've ranted, raved and rambled in the past talking about this man's management, how clueless he seemingly is in his teams, certainly reflect on that. I do find ourselves in a very difficult position and a very unusual position, because I'd say, or I'd argue, that a lot of the fans' expectations going into any game of football involving this club that isn't on a Thursday night is right down to here. You know what I mean? Our expectations of watching this team play football has been beat down so badly that it's right down at the gutter. But maybe the most impressive thing under the management of Phil Clement, and a lot of those performances from players on the park, is somehow, some way they are finding ways to limbo underneath that embarrassingly low bar. That's just as bad as it was last week. That's just as bad as it was the week before. Again, that's back-to-back defeats at Ibrox, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not against Celtic, it's not against this, it's against Queen's Park and St Mirren. And what's sandwiched in between that? The happy clap extravaganza of a 3-1 win versus Hearts, in which we had to rely on Hearts to give us 2 goals in a game they absolutely battered us on. If you just look at the facts and if you just look at the games themselves, this is a team that is sinking and a manager that's clueless. It really, really is, man. There's no direction, there's no response, there's no reaction. We got lucky as hell last week. We all talked about, well, the majority of us did, other people said stop moaning about a win, but you could see it coming down. And once again, Hearts playing a bit more aggressive style and commit men forward, so we did look occasionally better on the counter, but we are just back to the bread and butter of Scottish football today, the low block, the part the bust against the long physical lone striker, and once again our team just looked clueless against it and had nothing to nullify that and nothing gone the other way. It's another game of football. I'm watching a team with a budget of a packet of quavers completely coach circles round us, the structures there, the style of plays there, and I'm sitting watching a Rangers team going, what the hell actually is it? And there is a damning statement in itself. Is I think the hardest part of being a Rangers fan these days is actually having to watch the games, because it's simply pathetic. But again, I did say we were in a very unusual position, because again the expectations are beat down, but let's reflect on where we are as a season. We know this potential takeover is getting closer and closer each time, you know what I mean? It could be completed before the summer, hopefully it certainly is, right? So we are in this weird sort of limbo where we're waiting for stuff to happen and waiting for a wee bit of brightness at the end of the old tunnel, right? But again, the season's still going on, there's still games that's got to be played, and I feel like we're in this weird spot where the club is just sitting still. They're like, why are we going to spend money to sack Clement when we can wait to be bought out in a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and then it can be the 49ers' job to spend the money to sack them. You know what I mean? Let's just hold on to the pennies now and wait for the buyout, and then it's someone else's problem. And that's where I feel like we are as a club, because it's clear as day this man needs to go. He is rotten, and I would genuinely look in a lot of people's eyes and say this is just as bad as it was under Pedro and under Murray. And if you ever need an argument, or if you ever need stats to rectify that on, say why I'm saying that, just watch the games of football. You can see it. We're all over the place. So you've got that layer sitting simmering away, and then you build on it with another wee example, because does the manager feel like this is the way that it's panning out? He knows that he's only in the dugout right now because we're waiting for stuff to actually click on. Does he know that his ticket is punched the second that is done and dusty? Because it certainly appears the players know it, troops, you know what I mean? Because where I've been very vocal and very critical of Clement so far, rightly so by the way, he's absolutely embarrassing and shameful what he's doing at this club, but can we just talk about the players very briefly as well. You talk about chucking a manager under the bus, it's beyond that as well, as they look like an absolute shadow of themselves. And where we made the video after maybe the Spurs Celtic game talking about Clement and being like, right, maybe we just need to hang fire the now, it's still going to be ugly, he'll probably still be sacked later on in the season, but it looks like the players are at least giving everything for him. That's not happening anymore. That is an absolute shadow, and I'm not one of these guys that's blinded and say there's no Celtic players that would get in this Rangers team. I always feel like I'm very honest whenever we have this conversation. There is a lot of bang average at best players that wear the Rangers crest on their chest these days that wouldn't even get in an 18, never mind anywhere near a starting 11 15, 20 years ago, right? I know the standard of the player itself has fallen, but there is a couple project, there is a couple prospects, there is some things there, and I'm just no seeing it anymore. As clearly they are fed up. You know, when they hear the noise, they see all the stuff, and when you've got the guys like Patrick Stewart earlier on the week coming out and saying, aye, it's been embarrassing, oh, it's this versus Queen's Park, oh, the league domestic football is bad, but European football though is all good. What's that telling the players? Well, what did it tell us, the fans? That this club only cares about European football for the rest of the season. That's what that sign was. That's what we talked about right here on the channel, and it looks like the players have heard it as well, because they never even put a shift in at all. They never clocked on at all the day, and they were absolutely shocking, just sleepwalking through the game and getting ran all over by a St Mirren side who were brilliant to a man and certainly deserved their win. The scorelines maybe actually protecting a lot of our feelings from what the game could have been. St Mirren were great today, but again, the bare minimum you want from any game is a team that's combative and getting stuck in. This Rangers team was just sleepwalking through the game, and that is why we're in this very unusual position, right? Because we're hearing stuff, it's all about Europe's why he's in a job, Europe. So Clement knows that he's here because of what he's done in Europe. The players know he's here because he's what he's done in Europe, and then we're just sort of going through the motions every time there's now a domestic game where there's simply no care at all. Because if the club doesn't care and the manager doesn't care, why will the players? And that's the circle and vicious cycle we're in right now. We are a mess, aye, but when you look at all the layers to this, it's no wonder, ladies and gentlemen. But again, the bare minimum should be out, despite any of the madness and despite any of the spin that if the club does back Clement and tries to say, well, we're downsizing, well, we're doing this, well, we're doing that, we still should be able to beat the likes of St Mirren at Ibrox. I'm not want to hear the excuses. I'm not going to get hoodwinked with the nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Downsizing or no, we still spend a hell of a lot more than St Mirren. So I should be expecting, and we should be expecting our team to go on our surface at Ibrox and still be able to win that game. Whether they care or no, the quality should still be there, but it's completely void of any quality, any substance, any style, any shape and any identity. We're lost on the park as we are off the park, and unfortunately that is why we are where we are. And it's got to such an embarrassing stage now that anyone domestically, no matter who they are, is now looking at this Rangers side with eyes wide open, licking their lips, raring to get stuck into the mess and feast on the carcass. You know what I mean? It's like a Roadrunner cartoon right now, and every other team is the coyote, and we're the wee Roadrunner, except being able to run away, we're tripping at our feet and just giving them free bites. And it's humiliating to say that, and it is shambolic, but that is what the product's been allowed to get to. And again, we might be still sticking with Clement, and I do want to kind of touch on that as well, because a lot of people are saying, well, if this takeover is happening, it makes sense to keep Clement in the building, right? Because, and from an intern base, it can no disrupt European football, because yeah, he's a big help in there and everything like that, but you know what I mean, doesn't it disrupt that, and we just get to across the line with the takeover, then we can bring somebody else in. And I understand why people were saying that, but clearly intern managers can work sometimes, and it can be beneficial, because they're usually young, hungry managers looking to prove themselves, being given an opportunity, the one they expected, and they come in and they try their absolute best. We've got a manager that's sinking like a stone right now, being heralded as that and being asked to carry us over a very difficult period, and he's no got a clue what to do, and he's just clearly no gelling with the players. The players have gave up on him, maybe he's gave up on the players, and it's just shambolic. We are actively hurting impressive talents like Egan Man today. His management over the last couple games has been absolutely shambolic. shambolic. Chuck to the wing here, number 10 for Dessers here, there and everywhere, and it's just embarrassing. Even 1-0 down, chasing a game at Ibrox, he's the one it's ripped off. No, the 30-year-old that's never going to get any better because everybody likes him because he scores a couple goals whenever he's linked with a team. We are now actively hurting our talents and hindering some players, and it's just an absolute mess, ladies and gentlemen. I've probably said that word too many times, but anyone who's watching the games and watching where Rangers are, that's where we are. So to the people that's be like, no, we need to stick with him, even if we are going to get rid of him, just keep him as an interim manager. I'd rather have somebody young, hungry there looking to improve, no somebody that's just going through the motions knowing his ticket's punched whenever the deal is actually done. We need a spark somewhere to get these players firing, and anyone that say chopping and changing managers, remember the Patrick Stewart quote, chopping and changing managers didn't work. Aye, that doesn't work if you keep hiring duffers, ladies and gentlemen, right? And again, we as fans don't know if they're good or no. That's no our job, you know what I mean? If I say, oh, he's exciting with this, that doesn't matter. We are fans, ladies and gentlemen. There is people paid a hell of a lot of money to make these big decisions, and they get a lot more help than any of us is there. It's on them to prove their worth and earn their paycheck and earn their expensive dinners and go ahead and work and benefit this club going forward and getting the right manager. And I used this example the other day, but the likes of David Moyes and the transformation he's done, whatever, and just identifying where the weaknesses are, coming in and stamping down his style to play like that every one of us knows what that is, and it's no pretty, but it's effective, ladies and gentlemen. And look at the results Everton's now having post and after, and you're saying chopping and changing managers aren't going to help anybody. It's a crazy, crazy situation to actually be in, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a very frustrating position to be in, and that's just really how I feel. I'm no longer shocked, and I'm not even, maybe not even sad the word anymore, or greeting, if you will. I'm just actually just annoyed and fed up now, because it's clear what needs to be happening, and it's clear in confidence that it's not happening. Even if we didn't want to sack Clement, right? And I'm going to be pretty blunt here. Even if we didn't want to sack him until the takeover him, get him away from that dugout. Like, genuinely, give me somebody else in the building, because we need a spark. We can't keep limping like this, ladies and gentlemen, because it's no fair on the fans who spent all that money funneling it in to the club to watch that on the back. Tell me, go and sit in the house and get somebody that actually knows, or has got a spark in him that can put Sutton down as a cell. Surely one of the coaches in and around the building at Rangers has got Sutton about them, and that's truly how I feel. It might be harsh because we all like him. Oh, you wanted to? Aye, we did like him, Troops. Yeah, I'm sure he is a lovely guy, but it's not working. Doesn't mean we need to continue to sink the ship any further that it's embarrassingly sunk so far, in my opinion. And I know for a fact I'm going to scroll into the comment section, people's going to say, oh, that's too harsh, if we don't want to sack him we can't just chuck him away. But what's the benefit of keeping him, ladies and gentlemen? We heard a lot of excuses all year, you know what I mean? His press conferences are car crash every single time. He's blaming everybody but himself every single time, you know what I mean? Accountability is a pretty damn important ability. But see, at the same time as throwing everything we've already talked about away, we have now had 2 full weeks worth of training where he can start putting his ideas across. There's no midweek games, there's no midweek interruptions, there's none of that stuff. And have we got any better? Have we looked anything remotely improved over the last 2 weeks where we've had all this time to work on the tactics? No. So what the hell are we sticking with them for then? Truly, what is it? Do we just want to see how embarrassed and annoyed we can make these Rangers fans? Is that what the people in charge want to do? Take him away, man. Just take him out the spotlight and put somebody else in there to try and get some sort of reaction. Just like, but I'm not expecting us to go and win the league or anything like that. It's got to be better than the standard we're seeing. We can't be a team that's constantly outshot and outperformed every single game and dragged through the muck like this. Takeover or no pendant, it can't be like this, ladies and gentlemen, or it shouldn't be. But again, I've said this for too long now. The club's sticking with the way it's gone, and you just never know where we're going to go. But the only place that's for damn sure, it's no up. It's going to be done. And as I do edge closer to getting into the game recap, sorry, we will get there. And I want every person who's currently still watching today's video just to take a wee second to scroll down at the comment section below, and I want you to say in or out. In or out for Clement, because I genuinely want to know how you feel about it. Now, I know there's going to be opposition fans for elsewhere writing in and everything like that, and that's fair, that's what banter and all that's all about. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, I truly want to know how the Rangers fans are feeling. Is it in or out? Please put it down in the comment section below and let me know how you feel, because truly, I've got to a point now where I am actively starting to dislike seeing him in that dugout. Again, it's never anything personal, it's never anything like that, but he, for me has now become almost a symptom what the frustration is in this fan base. And for me, I'm struggling to find a more unlikable manager. The way he goes about in his press conferences, it's never his fault, talking about made up stats, statistics, all this, poking holes in everything, embarrassing us by talking doing Jose Mourinho the other day there. Do you know what I mean? Every Rangers fan's embarrassed by that, and I'm sick of being embarrassed. He wants to go and start prodding one of the greatest managers of all time based on his play style. Well, he's gone out here and breaking losing records at this club, getting beat off part-timers and losing back-to-back games. It's truly embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want off this train. It's an absolute disaster, and again, there's a genuine argument from me that he is one of the worst managers we've ever had. Truly, I believe that now. We've seen the decline of that, how we've lost some players of creativity, how we've moved this to just the standard fit. But not talking about results or like, because sometimes you can play well, be unlucky. We've seen it. Just the standard of your football is rotten, and we just look like absolute guff. Ladies and gentlemen, there's just nothing there, no style, no identity. So yeah, in or out, let me know down in the comments section, because I want to know if I'm wrong and I'm just too emotional and I'm just too close to it. Truly, I can be, because I'm kind of like that, but I will always tell you how I feel. I want to know how you feel. In or out, let me know down in the comments section below, and I will go ahead and get in to the game recap, because the starting 11 was alright, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? We found out John Souttar had another wee injury, or a wee nigger, or a wee knockback, if you will. You know what I mean? Water's wet. Souttar struggles with injuries. That's what we pride our team actually on. So you had Nasala and Proper at centre-back, Tavernier, Jeff, the sort of usual team you're expecting, and obviously Egeman and Dessers. And I'm like, right, here we go then. Let's see a wee bit. And then within the first 5 minutes, I'm sitting watching Egeman needing to go out left and then play in the 10 position. I'm saying, why on earth again? In a season where everything is gone domestically, and we know trying to build up and improve Egeman as a number 9. Because that's what he is. Ladies, the way we are in our season, it's got to be playing these laddies in their position. What the hell are we limiting him for and asking him to do a job that's outside his comfort zone to what? Benefit Dessers? Do you know what? It's just so embarrassing and so backwards. It drives you absolute mental. And look, Egeman wasn't very good today. Done a couple wee things here or there, but that guy's head's been absolutely messed about the last couple of weeks. Peaks and valleys with young players. That's what we talk about. Ups and downs, absolutely. But you didn't panic. You didn't throw them under the bus. You didn't banish them to the shadow and rip them off at half time or play them out of position when they're doing that. You show a bit of good man management and have their back and build them back up by playing them in the right positions and getting them back to their best. But no, let's throw our most exciting attacking player we've had all season to the Wolves, have him doing everything else, because Desser's a nice guy and we all love CD number 9. It's embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. But talking about peaks and valleys, we should probably talk about Nasala, who again was maybe directly involved for 2 goals. One of them very unluckily trips himself, and annoying, he gets a wee bit the old Harry Maguire versus Dessers. We nudge in the back, but there's nothing in it. He needs to be stronger, absolutely. But again, as a young player, he's going to have those, and we want young players to get those, right? But we as a team, when our youngest players and our guys that are learning their craft do have a game where they aren't faultless, and when they aren't spotless, when they do struggle, which is always going to happen with younger players, we need our experienced players to step up and do more to help them on the day. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, our experienced players were Casper-esque as they completely evaporated in front of our eyes. Nasala struggled today. Egeman struggled out of position today, and the people that's there, the experience to help these lads over the line, also struggled. But again, it'll be the young lads, it'll be Nasala that's getting roasted, it'll be Egeman for flopping for the last couple of weeks, and they will actually look at the problem that, again, that we aren't building anything to help these guys and nurture them along. They either need to be perfect in their first season of playing at this football, or it's a disaster and they're at blame for everything. It's just such a complete mess, ladies and gentlemen, and I was so annoyed instantly when I saw it. Just play Dessers behind, you know what I mean? Maybe it doesn't suit his game perfectly, doesn't suit Egeman's either, so why be hurting his development for someone that's not going to get any better? Do you know what I mean? But speaking of experienced players not doing enough to help their younger counterparts when they are struggling, we need to talk about Jackie B, who showed the old two-faced coin from being immaculate versus Hearts, or close to being that, I should say, to almost madness once again, and it just sets the tone. It just makes everything uneasy, and again, that's when you need your experienced players to help during these rough times, to be the shoulders to cry on, to help these young players. When you're looking at one of your most experienced players in the back line there in terms of Jack Butland, just passing a ball directly to the opposition, giving them 2 shots in goal, which, to be fair, brilliant saves. First in, getting down low, and in the other in, I think he just tips over the bar. It's an immaculate save, I should say. But at the same time, it's all coming down from silly, needless crap with the ball at his feet. We know as fans, Jack Butland's weakness is hitting the passes. So why the hell are we still asking him to do it, troops? Genuinely, why are we asking him to try and build it for the back when he can't do it? Like, what is the purpose? What are we trying to achieve? It just makes the crowd nervous, it just gets us nervous, and it just gets St Mirren smelling a wee bit of blood and getting excited. Constantly, we are our own worst enemy every single game, and after 10-15 minutes, we once again look clueless versus a low block side. And again, we've got a manager coming out here and roasting one of the greatest all-time, Josie, for playing a similar style to the counter-attack. Maybe have a style before you criticise others, Phil. That's all I'll say about that as I go a wee bit further. And again, there was nothing real in it. It was flat. It was embarrassing. I know people had a lot of jokes about Celtic getting beat earlier on the day, but what did I tweet out? Need to tell the players, because they filled their nappies every single time, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Celtic got beat. Not that it matters to us now, because at Disney, they've wrapped up the league quite easily, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter on that fact, besides a rival looking at the rivals losing, but I'm not going to sit here and start roasting them. Oh, they got beat today, and like, yeah, because we do crap like this every single time. We need to tidy our house before we start laughing at other people's curtains, ladies and gentlemen. That's how bad we are right now. But 15-20 minutes of nothing for the Rangers team. That's the response. That's the bite. And after about 25 minutes, the only thing we've really got to talk about is Eggman coming outside the box from a corner. I just dislike this. A lot of people in and around the club, like, you know, who is putting our most natural finisher that was scoring goals for fun outside to cross to boys that can't score clear open goals? Anyway, he's outside, and to be fair, it does brilliant, does a nice wee spin, puts in a dangerous cross, but guess what? Nobody's there because no one's made the run. I'm truly shocked, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, after that, there was what? A Czerny shot where he cut inside. Easily saved by the goalie. Then it was St Mirren long ball. We fret here, running behind here, defending here, and you're thinking, oh, here's another game we're getting embarrassed and battered once again. But again, after Eggman drops deep to get the football, beats a man, has a shot from range that gets deflected over by the baldy head of Goggins. I'm sick of watching that guy look like Jaap Stam every single time we play against the boy. Just a quintessential Scottish player, and he's just such a clear example of what we cannot handle. Throwing Dessers about like an empty pair of jammies again, just chucking them air here, and again blocking when he needed to block. Not only this time, but a brilliant one in the second half as well after Eggman burst into the box. It was a brilliant tackle as well. I mean, well played again in Gogic, but that doesn't surprise me because he's built for Scottish football. But anyway, first half ends with a bit of a frantic nature as Eggman ends up getting sent off, ladies and gentlemen. Right, it looks like a fast-paced challenge, comes in, doesn't, I don't know, honestly, I don't know if he does get anything on the ball. That's not me playing coy or dumb or trying to play for jokes here. I don't know if he does get any, the man, I should say, not the ball. I know he gets a bit of the ball, but I knew there was something because after the ref showed the red card, Eggman didn't move for the park. Do you know what I mean? He's going like that, he's telling the referee, nah, VAR will sort that, So I was actually looking like, he's not moving anywhere, he's arguing his case and he's standing still. So maybe it isn't a red card. And after a lengthy VAR check, the referee got pulled over to the monitor, listened to the advice of VAR, who's got all the angles, looked at it himself, and then went to the right decision. Never double down on a wrong mistake like that clown the other week, right? So he does the right thing. Eggman's, I don't know if it's arrogance or adamantness. I don't know if that's even a word. But anyway, he was just asserted in his motion that he should not have been sent off. And that's backed up. And as it doesn't get sent off and it gets downgraded to a yellow card, which it probably is. And at half-time, that is it. Booed off the parket game with our usual theme song. They just replaced Simply the Best with booing under Clement because that's all we hear. I thought it was bad under Beale. But by God, has Clement made that song his own, the boos of the Rangers fan, and you're thinking, Is there going to be anything? Are we going to get any reaction? It's like a science class every time I hear a press conference. There's always going to be reactions. None ends up coming out. And the second half starts with St Mirren going close twice. You're thinking, what on earth did we do at half time? And after ignoring the clear warning signs that was directly for 49 other minutes, we play into the hands of St Mirren again, get beat by one long ball. Proper Disney get up, Disney get brave enough. Also, he did actually do a bit good defending about the 40th minute. I don't know if I've mentioned that, where St Mirren just cut. Brilliant bit of play for St Mirren. Bang, bang, bang. The wee cheeky triangle. We also, teams should have that fast place passing, people moving in there. Do you know what I mean? If they're coached, obviously. No, just whew, kick a long ball, try and win the second. Kick a long ball, try and win the second. Great management for us. But anyway, after a nice bit of play with the carvers open, Proper does very good defending to stop it. But here, garbage. No big enough, no brave enough. Disney win the header. It then bounces. Nisala's tracking back for it and he ends up tripping himself. Now the referee lets the game go on, doing the right thing by the way, letting the big man score for St Mirren. Brilliant finish as well by Butland's got no chance. Then blows the whistle. I'm like, that's actually a good referee now, because if he thinks it's a foul, let it play, let the goal happen, and then VAR can fix it if there's any mistake. And unfortunately they did, ladies and gentlemen, as the referee, or the, I don't know, did he get called to the monitor? Ah yeah, he did get called to the monitor, and I think it's been shown that he tripped himself. Now there is a bit of controversy, because this happened a couple of weeks ago with Liverpool versus Bournemouth with Mo Salah. I know, because I had a fantasy player involved in the incident, right? So I've seen it as well, so it's one of the weird ones. Does he push his leg onto that? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. For what I've seen, it looks like Salah trips himself and he's just been real unlucky and the goal should have stood. But you can correct me down in the comments section below if I'm wrong and it was a foul. For me, it should have stood. And it did. And there it's 1-0. What type of response did we have? At home, with still over 30 minutes to play at this point because of all the VAR incidences. Our reaction was to sub off Egeman and put Danilo in. Right, nothing against Danilo, like him in the 10 position, but we had again shown horrendous man management of one of our hottest prospects and hottest talents in our team, ripping him off. We all, fair man, poor or no, you have to again show a wee bit, show you're not just going to throw these guys to the wolves every time it starts getting a wee bit tough. But again, I told you, the guys got favourites. Dessers and Lawrence and that are his favourites, and every single time he can go with them, he will go with them, troops. You know what I mean? We are tying a cart to a horse that's clueless and gone nowhere. It's a shocking substitution. And did it spark anything? No. Neither did his other double substitution, bringing on Tom Lawrence and Barami, taking off, I think, Czerny and Hadji. Actually, it wasn't Czerny, it was Mo Diamandi, actually. You know what I mean? He was substitute. Czerny continued to play because I remember coming back a couple of times trying to put into fits and trying to hit a couple of counter-attacks. It never came off for him either. But aye, then you're sitting looking at us 1-0 down, soon to be 2, as the ball, another long ball. Nisala gets a wee bit naive, tries to do it, undercuts it, gets a wee bit of a tap in the back, and the boy finishes brilliantly again after a wee check again from VAR. The referee waiting for it to be cleared. It's given us 2, and then you're sitting here 2-0 down at Ibrox. Crowds infuriated, crowds embarrassed, and we're having to watch a forward line that's got Tom Lawrence, Barami, and Dessers. 3 people that's been shocking for the majority of the year, and I know everybody loves Dessers. He's a nice guy, he scores a couple goals here or there whenever he's close to leaving this club, but at the same time it's something like out in Nightmare on Elm Street when you think of them 3 and then you've got Clement in the dugout. It's like some kind of weird sort of trick, and it's sickening to watch because we're no learning nothing, you know what I mean? Rely on these guys again, but there's just nothing getting learned, lessons are being ignored, and we are just going through the motions. And what are we going to talk about for the last 15-20 minutes when we're chasing? Couple crosses into the box, Tavernier ballooning a couple shots, the bar, Czerny trying his best. What are we going to talk about here? I don't think anything should be spoken about here because it was actually St Mirren that threatened a couple more times away for that, and the game ends with a couple VAR chals. Dessers has thrown himself about in the grundle, embarrassingly throwing air, trying to win penalties and everything like that. It's like, this is it. This is about as low as it can actually go, and that is the full-time whistle, with the people that stayed in the stadium certainly let their opinions be known, and Clement went right up the old tunnel, as as did the old Skipperoo Tavernier. A couple of them still left to clap the fans that remained in the stadium, by the way, even the likes of Dessers, who, again, it's never personal for him, and I do actually like him as a person. I just didn't really like him as a football player, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Wears his heart on his sleeve and that, but he's no good enough. We're dying in, getting into bed with people that's not good enough to take us where we need to go. We're actively hurting talents and affecting their potential, and not potential, but maybe value going forward, and we're just seemingly making all these mistakes every single week. It's slow, it's ponderous, it's dull, there's no tempo, there's no shape, there's no tactics. Once again, how long do we need to keep saying this? How long do we need to go through it? Well, unfortunately, it might be a while, ladies and gentlemen, because apparently they're staying with him all season long. So just get used to this. This is what our club's devolved to. This is what we've to accept. Well, still, season ticket money has gone up. They're going to be coming out soon, you know what I mean? All the shirts that are going to be coming out, all the merchandise, all the away tickets, all this stuff. They still want this, ladies and gentlemen. They still want more money for us, whilst giving us less in return. It's absolutely shambolic, ladies and gentlemen. The quicker the organisation with the 49ers can come take over this club, the better, because we need a clear out of epic proportions. Starting with the dugout, a lot of the jerseys are people filling them in the starting 11 and A-team, and a lot of the people in the background that's allowed this mess to get to the spot. But again, it's similar stuff to what we've already spoken about. We've done it all this season, but aye, this is who we are. So just expect it, ladies and gentlemen. The club has came out and told us they only care about Europe. The only reason the manager's in a job is because of Europe. So can you really blame the players for only doing what their manager is in a job for and what the club's feeding back to Clement, and that is playing well in Europe? I don't know what to say, and that's why it all needs to change in my personal opinion. But that's my thoughts. What about you? Let me know your thoughts, opinions down there in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Sieging over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.